Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to be going to part 2 of a story that I did yesterday called Caught Wife Trying to Cheat with My Friend from Her iWatch. And guys, a quick review from the story yesterday. This is a story about a guy who one night discovered that his wife was texting with a guy that he was friends with. Not a close friend, but a guy in their circle of friends. Actually, the typical follower type that was in the group. And basically, she had passed out drunk from a night of just hanging out on the couch, watching movies and drinking 2 bottles of wine. He saw her iWatch was going off, checked it out, and saw all these messages coming in from this dude. And basically, they were flirting back and forth. And basically, as he dug down the rabbit hole of her text messages, saw that she was pretty much begging for sex from this guy and all that, and that she was great at keeping secrets. And the guy just lost it because he thought he was in a great marriage, that she was really a great person, great wife, all that. And now he was questioning, who the hell is this person? I don't even know her anymore. And he obviously went to vent and all that. He was telling a story. And eventually, guys, he basically... he told her he knew and all that, and he got the whole waterworks, and it didn't mean anything, that usual type of stuff. And now he wants a divorce. He wants her out of the house because the house they're in, his parents own. It's not in her name or anything. And basically, we left it off there with his parents his mother trying to convince him that, it was to basically let it go. You guys have been together too long. Act like adults, that type of thing. And the important part of the video, guys, was that you gotta, as men, we gotta do what's best for ourselves. And we gotta know that you gotta trust your instincts. And if your gut is telling you something's wrong and it doesn't feel right, you gotta go with it. Even if it isn't popular with other people, whether it be your family, your friends, whomever, okay? And this guy wants to end the marriage. And obviously his mom is obviously against it, and you're going to see more in this part 2, how the family really tries to get in the way of this. And ultimately this guy you're going to see is going to do what's best for him no matter what, okay? And as men, we got to do what's best for us. So I'm going to jump right into it, guys. Says, hi, I thought I'd give an update since a lot of people have been personally messaging me asking for one. It's now been 20 days since I found out my wife was trying to cheat on me with my friend, and the situation has become hellish. I gave her a month to get out, and she's been sleeping in the spare room, but it's clear now she doesn't have any intention of going after she got in the ear of my mother. She doesn't have anywhere to go at any rate, but that's not my problem. I've seen my divorce lawyer multiple times, and I'm now in the process of drawing up a divorce petition and have my wife serve divorce papers. I've also opened my own bank account and taken 50% of the balance from our shared account. Very smart. Consult the lawyer, find out all his options, good, bad, and ugly, get his own bank account, all that. But she's not leaving the house. And the house, guys, is owned by his parents. His parents moved to a assisted living facility or something like that. And basically, he's going to get the house when they divorce. And when his parents pass away. But since it's in his name, he feels like, since it's in their name, he feels like, it's my house, basically, and she's not going to be able to take it from me. And also, I can call the shots. But obviously, there's pressure because the parents, or especially the mother, doesn't want him to give her the boot. So, because ultimately, it is their house, still. He says, the atmosphere around the house has been weird, to say the least. The living room has turned into a no man's land where no one frequents, as we are both spending the majority of our times in our rooms. I've also intentionally been working late a lot, so I don't have to interact with her that much. I've been completely ignoring her, but after reading about the 180, I started implementing that and been a civil if a little cold towards her. I'm so glad I did this, as I was beginning to feel like a monster, refusing to acknowledge her existence. It was not the right way to behave, and I ended up feeling like the one who had wronged her, rather the other way about. Well, this guy has every right to be pissed off at her and not want to talk to her and all that after what happened, I mean, I'm not saying you got to be verbally abusive and all that in any way, because that's going to come back to bite him in the ass in terms of the divorce. And also just simply being civil, because obviously they're both in the same house. But the whole thing about her having no place to go, they obviously have money, so she can make arrangements, but she's not, hoping he'll change his mind, or the way she got the parents on her side, hoping that they will have their influence on him. But as you're going to see, guys, that doesn't exactly go as planned. He says, the only time I broke from the 180 was when I walked into the bathroom last week and she was sitting on the floor by the bathtub crying. I helped her up and instinctively gave her a hug, though it was more of the there type of hug than one with much love attached to it. The sad thing is I'm so suspicious of her right now that I wouldn't put it past her for waiting on me coming in so she could put on a performance. Isn't it sad when you reach the point that you can't trust anything, that you have to question every action, everything that's being said? If you reach that point, it's really unfortunate. The thing is that that probably isn't even true, but this is the sort of shit that's going through my head, and it's in this environment. It's just toxic. They need to get away from each other. This is just a mess. I mean, just imagine after all that and you're stuck in the same house for another month or so. Good Lord. She's been crowing about how she'll do anything and everything to save this marriage. Anything to prove to me that it was just a silly mistake. So I brought up a lie detector's test. I don't plan ever getting one done. Wouldn't even know where to start. I just wanted to gauge her reaction. She was all for it. Well, until a few hours later when she came to me, tablet in hand, going on about how inaccurate they are and that anxiety and nervousness can throw up false readings. And with her and her anxiety disorder and all, I just laughed. Wasn't even a normal chuckle either. It started as a bit of a cackle and ended up in a childish giggle. It appears she would do everything to save this marriage. Well, everything except take a lie detector test. It doesn't even matter anyway. I meant what I said in the other article. Every morsel of love I had for her dissipated into the atmosphere after I read her say those horrible things. I don't see her as my true love anymore, the person I could tell anything to and would trust in my life. I just see trash. Trash needs to be taken out before it stinks the whole place up. So in other words, like I said in the other video, guys, once he found out about this, he was done. That was it. All love he had for her, and it sounds like he had a lot, just completely disappeared, like he said, okay? And he was done. He wanted to move on. But obviously, you know, you got the waterworks, her saying it didn't mean anything, I'll do anything to save the marriage, but the guy's done. End of story, okay? And it doesn't make a difference what situation you're in, whether this is from the perspective of a guy or it's a perspective of a woman. If you're done, you're done, okay? And the other person has to, they may not like it, but they got to respect that and move on. As adults, you got to do that, but he's not getting that here. And he's going to get further resistance, as you're going to see as I go on. He says, a jacket holder, that's the nickname he gives the guy that was obviously texting the wife and all that and trying to get her to cheat with him. Jacket holder has been the talk of the town since I exposed him to our friend group a few weeks back. It's safe to say he has no friends left among us and has been completely ostracized. I tried phoning him a few times, but he refused to answer, then blocked my number. F that little rat, I hope it was worth it. I've spoken to my mother multiple times about this and during a heated argument asked her why she was taking my wife's side. Like there was something she wasn't telling me here. What was she expecting? Us to live like roommates? Go on like nothing happened? It's ridiculous. She said that she's always seen my wife as a daughter she never had but always wanted. My mother had a stillborn daughter before I was born and it has haunted her. So she latched onto my wife and has done since we got together. As I said previously, they had a close bond. The fact my wife doesn't have any family and only a few friends who have had their own busy lives and families means if I threw her out, she would be all alone, and my mom thinks it's unacceptable, especially during a pandemic. So again, this is so much about his mom, okay? And obviously they're married, so she gets part of the money and all that, but still, she can find a new place to live. She can start over. She's a capable human being. I'm assuming she's not handicapped in any way, so she can take care of herself. She can make new friends, all right? But this guy's done. But at the end of the day, his mom is not happy about the situation, so mom is trying to do everything she can to change this guy's mind on how it will impact her. Mom's not concerned so much about her son, it's about how it's going to impact mom. And if this guy wasn't very strong, if this guy was a mama's boy, he'd probably go along with it because he doesn't want to upset mommy and be miserable. But a man is going to do what he needs to do, what's best for him, no matter what, even if it really rocks the boat and upsets everybody else in the family, in friends, the town, the work, whatever. You got to do what's best for you guys. And trust me, it's very hard, especially when everybody's against you. But you got to trust your gut. Your gut is your truth, knows everything. He goes on to say, she tried to get me to come to a compromise, saying that in 3 or 4 months, we can look at it again and see where you are mentally, and is pushing me to try couples counseling before I throw in the towel. I'm not doing that. The thought of being in the same house as my wife over Christmas makes me feel ill. She'll want to do it right as she does every year, and it'll be a complete shit show. My dad, God love him, has never been much of a talker. Never up nor down, just always there. He's a quiet, proud, but timid man, and my mother's word has always been the one that matters in our house. Translation, Dad's pussy whipped. His mother calls the shots, and he's not going to say anything, and he's going to go along with her plan. Okay? And so Dad's not standing up for his son here. If there's any time Dad should stand up to his wife, it should be now, protecting the son. Nope. People on here have been telling me that I'm selfish and spoiled because it's not my house, and I have no right to make demands, but it's now a case of my wife or me for my parents. If worse comes to worse, then I'm ready to walk out the door and never come back. F this house. I've been able to look at myself in the mirror with some semblance of self-respect, and someone has to keep their word in this debacle. Good for you, dude. I mean, again, he does this. Obviously, he's going to end it with his wife. His parents are going to be pissed at him, or at least his mom. He could lose living in that house that he's in for free. But ultimately, he's realizing, you know what? My self-respect is more important to me than all these things. Okay? It's more important than the material possessions I can have. It's more important than having people like me. I got to do what's best for me. But most people in life aren't going to do that. Okay? He says, if I do leave, my friend has said I can stay with him for a few weeks till I get myself sorted. If I do walk out that door, though, I'm done with my parents. I'll never speak to them again in my life. I wouldn't go that far, dude, okay? I understand being pissed and all that, but still, you can reconcile with your parents because they are your parents. They haven't done anything horrible yet. They haven't been on his side. Dad hasn't stood up for the son. Dad hasn't stood up to the wife, to the mother, but mom's doing it for her, okay? I would move out, and I would keep my distance for a while. But if later on down the road she's still pissed off and basically disowning him, then But I wouldn't go so far to disown my parents just yet. I think that's going a bit too far here. It's not cool what they're doing. They got to be on his side because we all know it's obviously about what mom wants. But still, take it easy, dude. Just hang on a little bit longer. Give it some time. Move out. Get the divorce. And down the road. And see where things go. I wouldn't just end things just yet with the parents. He says, I'll never speak to them again in my life. They'll probably see me, they'll probably see it as me giving up on them, me walking away without trying at least to go fixing things first. I see it as them choosing someone who broke my heart over me. Like what will be the logistics of this once I'm gone? Just her staying there by herself, my mother and father looking after a backstabber while their flesh and blood goes off alone? A little more info on the house. My parents let us move in a year after our wedding, and it was apparently a belated wedding gift, although it was just the chatter from them at the time. They were always planning on moving out and moving us in. I spent tens of thousands on it over the years, but that's neither here nor there. He says, I have fantasies of leaving this all behind, going somewhere new and starting again. But I don't have anywhere else to go. I've lived in this town my entire life. It's all I know. Am I being too harsh here? I'm literally ready to slingshot my parents right out of my life, but I feel so torn. Why am I the one who has to lose everything and everyone? I've tried to be good. I've always thought you make your own luck, and that good things happen to good people. Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Maybe I deserve it all I effing get. No. Aside from the fact that he's going too far saying he doesn't want to, after this, that's it, he's done with his parents forever. That's going too far at this juncture. But everything else, I agree with this guy. He that's it with his wife. He's done, okay? He has no problem there. And as for being able to start over, yes, he can. I get he's emotional now and worried because he's lived in this town his whole life. There's a whole giant world out there. There's endless possibilities if you're willing to get off your ass, take some risks, and make things happen. He has internet access, I assume, so he can research new places to live, things to do, maybe taking his job someplace else, doing something else. Who the hell knows? There's endless options if you're willing to make it happen. I mean, I feel for the guy, but also the guy, stop wallowing. You can make shit happen for yourself. And later on down the road, you want to try to reconcile with the parents, but if then mom's still being an asshole about it, then at that point, if he wants to say, that's it, I'm done. I tried to reach out to you after the divorce is settled, and you're still mad and holding a grudge, bye-bye. You can reach out to me when you're ready to apologize and to work things out, and for me to be your son, not the other way around with the girl. Anyhow, the final update here, and this goes into December last year. He says, well, since this morning, I no longer call that house my home. I've seen on the calendar that my wife had a hospital appointment with her ophthalmologist, so knowing she would be gone for a few hours, I took that as an opportunity to get my stuff together and move out, which I have. After getting my things moved and sorted, I just put the house keys in the kitchen table, along with the divorce papers that I received from the divorce lawyer last week, and was on my way. I've blocked both my wife and mother's numbers, and any communication I have with my wife going forward will be done through my lawyer. Very smart. In terms of my living situation, I'm staying with a friend for a week or two, but hopefully I should be on my own place rented before Christmas. Okay, see? Stay with a buddy. He was doing research on places to live. Now he's got a place to rent before Christmas. Cool. Okay? He's moving ahead. And this guy is giving up the house for doing what's best for him. Okay? He's not going to let his parents or his mom dictate how he lives at all. No man should let anybody else dictate how they live. And he's not going to go back with the wife just to make them happy a lot because he doesn't feel it. Okay? And he's going to deal with, obviously, a lot of uncertainty and lack of comfort for doing what's best for him. Okay? That's what men do. Okay? That's what brave men do. He says, I haven't spoken to my parents in a few weeks. Last time we spoke, it was via text, and I tried to tell my mother in explicit detail that the things my wife was saying during the text to jacket holder, why it hurt me so much, and why I don't think it was her first time doing it with the whole I'm good at keeping secrets comment. And thus, I could never trust her again. My mother texted back saying she couldn't speak to me when I was like this, and she would let me cool off. She tried to phone me a few days ago, and I just blanked her call and said it a bit further up. Since today, have blocked her number. So after all this, he still, again, explained to his mother, this is the reason I'm doing this, and mom still doesn't want to hear it. You can see the type of person his mother is. And you can see, obviously, she's obviously a very domineering, ball-busting alpha female, and obviously his dad is a very weak, timid beta male. And mom and the mother walks all over the father, and this guy probably grew up in a house like this, and she's used to getting her way, but her son is not backing down. I'm willing to bet you the son, it kind of reminds me of the movie Back to the Future, where Marty McFly, his father George McFly, was a weak, timid, pushover, the guy being bullied by Biff. And Marty McFly obviously saw that in his father and was the exact opposite. He wasn't taking shit from anybody. And it was a polar opposite of his father's character. You know, it seems a lot like this. This guy is obviously very different than his father here. I feel so let down by my parents at this point. It almost feels worse than the original betrayal from my wife. Yeah, I can definitely see that. The way I'm feeling right now, I don't think I'll ever speak to them again. I think in times of strife, you look to your family to be strong for you, to be a rock and give you, the wrong one, support. And he says, not the wrong one, the wronged one. My parents have been weak. They made me feel like I'm in the wrong, like I'm overreacting, and it's not me that's ripping this family apart. Well, it's not. I didn't ask them to move mountains for me, just move my cheating wife out of the house, and they made their choice. My father also had the chance to put his foot down for once in his life. There you go. And stand up for me, but didn't. You make your choices and you live with them, I guess. Very true. Yeah, his dad's a George McFly. Reading some of the comments on here from my previous post, people have been saying things like, I threw in the towel so easily. I was looking for a way out and didn't love my wife because I didn't try hard enough to save things, but that's not true. Fuck those people. Most people that's going to read this guy's story and comment on it, especially comment on it, are going to be people with that same mindset. Okay? But again, he has to do what's best for him. I love my wife more than anyone on this earth, and I was broken when I discovered what she was doing. I think we all had boundaries, and once those boundaries have been crossed, things change irreparably. When I read those horrible texts, something changed inside of me. I fell out of love with her. Like being snapped out of a spell in the movies. Anything tried after that is just delaying the inevitable. I have to say that I'm interested in the whole dynamic of their relationship now that I'm gone. Like, are my parents going to continue supporting her, knowing that it's finished with their relationship with their son? As for me, I'd love to travel. My wife hated flying, so most of our holidays have been to southern England. To the likes of Newquay and Torquay in Cornwall and Devon, so it would be great to travel abroad again. The last time I was abroad, I was 20 for a mate's holiday in Greece, so 13 years ago. I'd love to see a bit of America, so once this pandemic calms down, I've definitely got my sights on the States. Come visit us. We need the business. Okay, when things calm down, believe me, everybody come here. The United States needs the business, the tourism business. Well, that's about it for me, I guess. This will be my last post, as I don't want to outstay my welcome, and I don't think there's much more to say at any rate. If you want to see how I'm doing down the line, shoot me a DM. I'll try to keep you in the loop. Thanks for reading. So, guys, this guy's doing what's best for him, okay? His parents, or say his mom, tried to pretty much browbeat him into doing what she wanted to do. He didn't do it. And I still say that watching his father be this weak little timid guy with the mother bossing him around, obviously made him go in a different direction. It doesn't happen that way all the time. He's doing what he wants to do, okay? It's not right with his wife. That's it. She broke his heart. He's done, okay? And yes, she didn't physically cheat on him, but all the things that were going on in those texts was a betrayal, and it was going to happen no matter what, and we all know it. Let's be honest here, okay? He was done. And so, like I said in the first video I did yesterday, guys, you got to do what's best for yourself, okay? Always. You got to trust your gut, and if that means that everybody around you, your family, your friends, everyone is against it, but you know in your heart that you got to do this. It is your truth. You do what you got to do is best for you, okay? And if that means you end up losing a lot of people and losing a lot of comforts in life, like this guy lost the free house that he was staying in, so be it, okay? But you know what? A man can take a situation that's bad and turn around for himself if he's driven enough, if he's strong enough, okay? And this guy is. I truly believe this guy is going to come out not just on top, but way better than he was beforehand, okay? And I think that's great, okay? And I really respect the hell out of this guy for having the balls to stand up to everybody else and do what's best for him. And that's what I want you guys to do. If you guys are in a bad situation, whatever it is, okay? It doesn't have to be just in a marriage. Do what's best for you. Always trust your gut, okay? And if it's not popular with, again, the friends and the family, everybody else, but in your heart you know it's best for you, you got to go down that path, okay? And because if you do what everybody else wants you to do, you're going to be miserable. Trust me. And by the way, misery loves company, and we all know it. Most people in this world are not happy. They're not happy in their relationships. They're not happy in their jobs. They're not happy with their friends. They're not happy with the amount of money they have. They're not happy with the way they look. Lots of things. And believe me, they don't like anybody else going off on their own doing what's best for them, because they realize then, hey, I haven't done shit for me to make myself happy, and I'm a loser. Okay, it's easier just to rope everybody in to be just like them. It's sad, but it's true. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.